Welcome to the Podcast Growth Series. If you're ready to grow your audience, increase your downloads, and finally see your podcast gain the traction it deserves, this series is for you. Over the next 12 episodes, I'll guide you step by step through strategies to help you understand your audience, make your content more discoverable, and create episodes that listeners love to share. This isn't just a series for inspiration or fluff. It is designed to help you achieve real, tangible growth. Each episode is built on the last, giving you practical, actionable insights you can implement right away. By the end, you have a complete system for sustainable podcast growth, and you have achieved real progress towards the audience and impact you've always wanted. So grab your notebook and pen, and let's get started. Well, hello there, and welcome to the 12th episode in the Podcast Growth Series. I am so excited for this final episode. We're doing an end-year podcast growth audit and talking about your 12-month plan. And I am just so happy that this year we got to go through a long-term game plan together. A little recap, we started with the foundational clarity that every podcast needs in order to be successful. We mapped out our ideal audience. We talked about SEO, of course, and becoming more discoverable. And then we moved into the episode structure. We talked about community. We talked about engagement, because making your podcast discoverable is one piece of the puzzle, but what's inside of the podcast, right? Like, are you moving your people closer to your offers? Are you helping them have a breakthrough, right? So we need to talk about the structure of your episode. And then we moved into the visibility, right? We talked about visibility, monetization, partnerships, alignment, making sure that everything is aligned with your vision for your business, for your show. And finally, we talked about data, one of my favorite things to talk about. And today we are going to pair up that data with content planning so we can plan out our 2026 together. So let's start with an audit. And the purpose of the audit is to clarify what happened in 2025. And the biggest thing that you need to understand right now is that you need to ask yourself this question. Is your podcast helping the right people? And is it moving them towards working with you? So is the podcast doing something for your business? Is it moving your business forward? Because if it is, that is success. Sometimes it's very challenging to quantify how much impact our podcast has on our business, unless you're me and really truly you're just going all in on podcasting and you're not doing anything else. It's just hard to know, like, is this podcast converting? Which, by the way, just a little sneak peek, I have something amazing coming to you in 2026, and involves lead capturing straight from your podcast. So you don't necessarily need to do any extra work, but you'll be able to capture leads straight from your podcast. I am super excited for this because this has always been a huge gap in the podcasting space, right? It's that idea of, okay, I'm podcasting, I'm showing up, but is the podcast converting? Well, I found a solution for you, and I'm super excited to share, but more about that in 2026. Also, if you're like, oh my gosh, you're going to wait, to just shoot me an email, howdy@julianabarbati.com. That's JulianaBarbati.com. And let me know, like, hey girl, tell me more about this thing, and I will chat. But yes, that's coming 2026. But let's reel back in. Let's talk about your audit, right? So again, at the highest level, right? Like, really the foundation is your show helping the right people, and is it moving your business forward? Because that is success, okay? If you got like one person to like buy a course from you, that is success, right? Like, sometimes we beat ourselves up and we don't celebrate the big things. We go into whatever new strategy and we think that one strategy is going to just blow up our audience, our career, our income. And then we resent it when it doesn't match the vision that we have, right? So we just need to become really good about celebrating those small wins, however small they are, and focus on that, because that is how we measure success. Now, as far as the audit goes, let's talk about your audience. So let's start there, right? Has your ideal audience stayed the same, or has it evolved, right? Because as I'm playing out my 2026 journey, I know that my person has evolved, right? So I have a ton of content. I don't know what episode we're on right now. I think we're in like episode almost 500, which is so crazy to me. But I'm not talking to the same person I was 2 years ago. I'm like, my person has evolved. I have evolved. I have learned so much. I have so much more to share, right? So I need to take that into consideration. Just be careful here that you're not talking to your peers. You're never making your episodes for your peers. I mean, most of you are not. You're talking to somebody who's 3 steps behind you, right? But has your audience evolved? If not, that's fine. But have they evolved? So then you have to adjust your content accordingly. Next, what strategies actually brought in new listeners, right? So if you're trying to do social media and you're trying to do Pinterest and this thing and that other thing and that other thing, like, listen, they all have their time and place and they help in some way, shape, or form. But the biggest thing you need to understand is that SEO is the end game, right? So like SEO is the best thing you can do for your podcast. I just also want to say that I'm not going to be humble about this one. I am the queen of podcast SEO. There's so many people out there, so many podcast managers who say, oh my gosh, yes, I know podcast SEO. Come to me and I can help you. But they have no idea what they're talking about. As a matter of fact, here's some tea for you. I don't listen to anybody. I don't listen to peers. I don't listen to other podcast strategists. I stay in my lane because I just know my stuff. I really go for the blue ocean strategy. So I don't care what my supposedly competitors are doing because I put myself in a category of one. And like, truly, I don't have competitors. But somehow this girl's content came to my awareness and I listened to one of her episodes and I kid you not, this girl, who, by the way, I have had conversations before in the DMs. She has reached out to me to help her with her podcast. She was basically recycling the information that I share with you freely on this podcast. She was sharing that on her show. And I know for a fact, this girl has like 15,000 downloads in her podcast and she's been podcasting for like 3 years, which if that's you, listen, I can help you. Like if you're the person who has 15,000 downloads after 3 years, like, yeah, that's actually not a lot. And I can help you get way more downloads. But the point I'm trying to say is don't copy somebody else's work. But yeah, SEO is where it's at. And I am the queen of podcast SEO. Like I am not ashamed to hold that title because nobody gets podcast SEO like I do. But yes, focus on the podcast SEO because I promise you, when you really audit your show and you look at social media and Pinterest and blogging and LinkedIn and whatever else you're doing to grow your podcast, you have to change your mindset to I am recycling my content in all those other platforms and it's helping my visibility and it's helping me grow in some way, shape, or form. It's not necessarily helping grow the podcast. So that is something for you to think about. Engagement. So which episodes create the most engagement for your show, right? Like, so which ones had the most downloads? Which ones had the most retention? Which ones were the ones that people were like, oh my gosh, I love this episode. This resonated with me so much. And for those of you who have a smaller audience, like, it's okay if like one person reached out to you. If one person reached out to you for one specific episode, like that's good. Like you always have to align where you are on the journey and not get ahead of yourself here. But take a look at those episodes that did well. How about your offers? Like, did you release something on your podcast? Did you mention something in your podcast that actually led to a conversion? So now if the answer is yes, okay, let's reverse engineer here. Like, how did I do my call to action? Like, how did I actually promote this thing? How did I talk about this? Like, what led to this conversion? And then let's talk about content, right? Like what type of content felt easy and fun to create and what type of content drained you? Like we have to let go of this idea that I can only talk about this thing because of whatever, or I have to do this or I have to do that. Like you get to talk about what it is that you want to talk about, you know, like you get to impact people at such deeper capacity when you just let go of these shoulds and you just embrace your genius and you embrace your gifts, like your God-given gifts, and you just go all in on them, okay? So lean in on those things that feel easy and fun and just flow out of you versus those things that you feel that you have to do, because it just comes across like when you do something, right? Like I'm just going to go on a side tangent here for a second. Imagine you have to cook a meal and you're just in a bad mood. You don't want to do it. You're just angry. That meal is just like not going to taste good. Like no matter how amazing the ingredients are, the intention is just like not there. Like you just don't want to do it and you're being forced to cook this meal for whatever reason, right? Versus when you've got nothing in your fridge, right? Like you didn't plan accordingly and like you're out of produce and you're like have a carrot and like half an onion, the other half is rotten, and you have some rice and some tofu, whatever. And you like make this amazing meal because you're inspired and you're like, oh my gosh, like I made something out of nothing, right? That is the difference when you're creating content from a place of like joy and fun and ease and creativity versus, oh my gosh, like I don't want to do this right now. So don't be the latter, because it really does translate into like just I don't know. It's just like not good business to do things that, don't vibe. Okay. So now that we have those questions, right, answered, the next step in this audit is for us to simplify and double down. So like, what are the things that I actually envision for 2026? What are the things, like when I think about my life and my business, like what do I want that to look like, right? So if you're somebody like me, right, I'm going to use me as an example. I have 3 kids, and I kid you not, I blinked and I have a 10-year-old, and I'm like, how did this happen? And then I blinked and I have an 8-year-old, and then I blinked again and I have a 2-year-old. Like I remember going into labor with every single one of my babies, and my babies are grown, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So like my goal is always, okay, how can I simplify this business more so that I can spend more time with my kids? Because like they're growing up and they're going to get married and they're going to have their babies and their families. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where did time go? It really does go by so fast. So what are things like when you think about 2026, what do you want your life to look and feel like? And again, letting go of the shoulds, letting go of like that nagging little voice in your head that's making you feel bad, right? Because you want more ease, because you want more simplicity. Like, listen, let go of the hustle, because it's not serving you, okay? So you have to have a vision, cast a vision, because where there's no vision, the people perish. So cast a vision for what you want your 2026 to look like. And then you're going to pick 2 to 3 strategies to go all in. And hopefully, of course, like podcasting is one of them. And then you're like, okay, what's going to be my second and third strategy? Okay, is that going to be that I'm going to just email more regularly? Like I'm just going to be very intentional about growing my list. Is it going to be that I'm going to start Substack? Is it going to be that I am going to go all in on Pinterest? Like whatever it is, right? We are keeping it down to 2 to 3. And remember, you're listening to this episode, right? You're a podcaster. Podcasting must be the number one thing. Everywhere else, you recycle, okay? So podcast is like the queen bee of content. We focus on her because like she's hardworking, man. Like she gets to results, right? And everything else supports the podcast, okay? Like let's not get things twisted here, because, when it's like February and March and June and September, and you're like looking around and you're like, oh man, like what can I do? And like I'm feeling a little bit bored, or like I'm feeling a little bit FOMO. And that's when you start joining things, like joining programs and like start doing things for your business that don't actually move your business forward. Like if you're a podcaster through and through, then like focus on the podcast. Don't be over here focusing on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like you just have to really be firm about your vision. I know vision boards are controversial. Some people love them, some people don't. But listen, where there's no vision, the people perish. So if that's going to help you, just like stay aligned in your vision, okay? Make a vision board so that when it's like March and you're like, oh man, look at this like fun, new and exciting FOMO-inducing program. Should I join? You go back to your vision board and you're like, okay, no, actually it does not align with what I want. It doesn't help me, right? Like it makes life easier for you when you have that vision. So this part here is all about simplifying and doubling down what works. Remember, the podcasting works, okay? And if you're like, oh my gosh, Juliana, the podcasting still doesn't work, come work with me. Come work with me, because I will get you results. I have never worked with somebody and not gotten them results, like ever. Okay, like you work with me, you are going to increase your downloads. You are going to be able to monetize your podcast. Like I'm telling you that, like that will happen. That is inevitable. It'll happen. Okay. So part 5, we're going to plan out your 12-month plan. Okay. So like, do you have any launches that you want to do in 2026? Some people are like, oh, like I'm feeling inspired. I'm going to do a launch. If that's you, that's great. Right. But I feel like sometimes structure just helps you move faster. Like when you have a framework that you follow, it just gives you sanity. And if you're listening to this podcast, whether or not you identify yourself as a creative, you are. Like you are a creative. If you are an online business owner, you are a creative. And the problem with us creatives is that like we like the freedom and we like to just be authentic, be ourselves and whatever, right? But planning is an important part of that. So if you're a planner, go ahead and plan out your life for the next 12 months. Yay, hooray for you. But if you're not a planner, at least plan the first quarter, okay? Like that's going to give you so much clarity and like so much security, because I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but like toddlers thrive on a routine, right? Like they know, and it's not necessarily about like at 7 o'clock we do this, at 8 o'clock we do that, and at like 9 we do this. It's about like, okay, we wake up, we have breakfast, we brush our teeth, we go to the park, da-da-da. It's like that predictability is what toddlers need to thrive, and it helps them like not have as many tantrums. You know, tantrums are just part of their developmental phase, but like it just helps them like know what's happening, right? So as much routine as possible that you can have in your business, it's gonna be like so life-giving for you and for your business, because listen, you cannot control the outcome, but you can control the output, okay? And just always tell yourself, I can control the output, okay? And the output is gonna be the best it can be. So all this to say, have a vision, right? Like let's plan it out. If you want to get down to the nitty gritty, like these are the launches, like this is what I'm launching on this month and that month, or this quarter or that quarter, like go for it. If not, like at least let's plan 1 quarter at a time. And now we need to reverse engineer, right? Like if we are launching, right? What kind of content do I need to create that supports my launch, right? Like maybe you are releasing a book. Okay. So like what kind of episodes do I need to create that supports my book launch? Maybe you were doing a retreat. Okay. Like what kind of content is going to support my retreat? So like that is a part where you need to align your vision and your goals, and you just need to just be very driven, right? Like we have looked at the data, like we have looked back so that we can look forward. Okay. And this is all very important so that we can have success in 2026 and beyond. And truly, the biggest piece of advice that I have for you is for you to focus on the podcast. Like really, truly, your podcast is at the center of your business universe, and everything else like supports the podcast. It doesn't take away from the podcast. It doesn't distract you from the podcast. Go all in on the podcast, love on the podcast. You know, like that is the one place where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And it's just going to help you so much in your business. It has done wonders for my business. Like, listen, when I launched this podcast, when I launched my business, I did not have an audience. I literally started from the literal zero. And like anybody who could potentially have been in my world that it could have helped them, like I didn't even tell them, because I launched them like, okay, like I'm just going to review my podcast. And then I took my husband's phone and I reviewed my podcast. And like, that was that. Now I have grown all the way to a top 0.5% podcast. And like, I think I did that a couple of years ago, like has been a while. But all this to say is like, listen, if a girl from Brazil with an accent who did not go to business school, who, you know, is a little Google, who loves conspiracy theories and is a vegan and like is, you know, a hippie and a crunchy mom and all of those things can have this level of success, you can too. But the thing of it is about you going all in and you not getting distracted by like all these other shiny things that are calling for your attention. You just have to be like so ninja about that. You know, you just have to protect your energy and just your mind at like such a level, because things are so sneaky, you know? So you just need to be super mindful of that. The next steps for you, if you have not signed up to get the homework prompts, go ahead and sign up to get those. It doesn't matter if you're just like now finding the series, you can always go back and start from episode 1. You're not behind. You're finding this piece of content at exactly the right time, but go through the homework prompt and be very specific with how you want 2026 to look and the vision that you have for your business, for your podcast, right? And if you want more support, come work with me, because I will get you there. So whether you're launching a podcast or you already have a podcast, you want to take it to the next level, my program, the Profitable Podcast Blueprint, will absolutely help you get to the next level, because in the program, we're covering how to launch. We're covering the SEO part of podcasting. We're talking the monetization part of podcasting. Not only that, you have my support. We meet twice a month for live calls. So you get hot seat coaching and you have my support inside of a private group. And I'm super excited to announce that we are doing a live round where we are doing podcast planning, right? So I am looking at your podcast, like we're sitting down and I'm doing your podcast planning with you so that you go into 2026, whether you're like, okay, let's plan out the whole year, or I want to plan out the first quarter, or I want to plan out the first month. Like, I want to take it day by day. Like, we're sitting down and we're planning your podcast together. So we are doing that, the podcast planning party, goal setting party, and that will happen in January. So make sure, like, if you're listening to this at a later time, come join, because there's always something fun and exciting happening inside of my community. But come join, because if you want podcasting to be the thing that moves your business forward, you need support. You need somebody who's there letting you know, like, hey, we have a blind spot here that we need to work on, or like you're working on the wrong thing, or maybe you need somebody to come in and tell you, okay, like, this is how you go all in on this launch. Like, this is how you make it happen. Because truly, on the surface level, it might look like I'm a podcast strategist, but I am so much more than that. I really am like a marketing strategist, like at a high level. Like, I should change my title and I should be called like a CMO or something like that, because marketing is my jam, especially organic marketing. You know, paid marketing, it's cool and all, but like organic marketing is honestly, truly the way to go, because it's sustainable and it does not drain you, and you don't have to play the algorithm game. So come join me, and I'm super excited for you. Go grab your homework prompt. I cannot wait for 2026 and like for all the amazing things that's going to happen. I would love to hear from you. I would love if you could email me, or if you want to connect with me on Instagram. I am at Juliana Barbati _. So come find me on IG, come connect with me. I really love hearing from you. It really does brighten my day when I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, time is such a scarce thing that we have, right? And you're taking time to actually come and talk to me. So that lights me up. Come hang out with me. Let me know how it's going. Let me know like what's in store for you. And I cannot wait to see you in 2026. I have a whole thing planned, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm super excited for 2026, and we'll unpack my plan on a podcast episode. Surprise, surprise, on 2026 and what's going to happen. So many of you have been asking me, okay, like, you're doing 1 episode a month. How is that going? Like, I'm so curious. So we're going to do an episode unpacking all of that. But yeah, I'm super excited for what's coming up for 2026, my vision, and like the things that I'm going to be doing. And I want you to be so excited about your vision as excited about I am for my vision for this podcast and for my business. So come hang out with me. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss anything. Leave me a review if you haven't, please, because it helps me out so much. Like, that is the biggest way that you can thank me for like all these episodes, all the times that I'm nagging about SEO. Like, leave me a review. Truly, it's super helpful. I'm so excited, and I will be answering your questions about monthly episodes. Dun, dun, dun. What happened in a future episode. And oh my gosh, have the best December. And I will see you back here for the most amazing January and the most amazing 2026. See you then. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast growth series. Here's what to do next. Number 1, head over to julianabarbati.com/homework to grab your homework assignment for today's episode and start taking action on what you learned. Number 2, subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss the next step in your podcast growth journey. And number 3, come back on the 1st of the month next month for the next episode in the series. Until then, stay focused, take action, and don't let distraction pull you away from building the podcast you have always envisioned. You've got this, and I'll see you next month.